Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us, Life and Transitions Expert Podcast. As the introduction said, if you're listening on the podcast, I am Courtney Rollins, the host of this podcast and the host and owner of the YouTube Life and Transitions Experts channel, where we connect with people who are helping folks through tough transitions in their life, particularly if they're going through the probate process, selling an estate, or helping or figuring out how to help a loved one get long-term care. Those are some big transitions, and quite often there is property involved in all of those situations where the property is either a challenge or problem or an opportunity, and people may need help figuring out how to leverage the property that's in the state to the best advantage, or for their greater good. And that's what I try to do at the State Pro Service. Take a look at people's situation and see what are some of the viable options, whether it's us buying the property for cash, whether it's listing it to get top dollar, whether it's helping you figure out how to keep the property and stay. There are many opportunities or solutions that are available to you or right type folks. So that's what we try to do here. And since we're focusing on probate quite often, I do get the question asked by some folks, hey, what should I expect? How long is this probate going to take? And some people feel like it's taking forever when they get involved in there and begin, and some are just trying to figure out when does it end. So let's take a look at that a little closer today. Just a reminder, probate is the legal process for settling the affairs in the estate of a deceased party. When someone passes away, whether they have a will or not, they may have assets, they may have debts, they may have things that need to be transferred over into the proper names, or inheritance that may need to be distributed. And there has to be a legal way to do this. You can't just walk into bank institutions or spaces or people's places, take their assets and start distributing them without having legal authority. And that's what probate does. Now, we're talking about North Carolina specifically, and to be just frank, it's pretty much, it's not possible really to determine exactly how long a probate case will take in North Carolina. And here are some of the reasons. Let's look at really 6 factors that impact the time. One factor, we know it's going to take at least 4 months to satisfy the notice to creditors. One of the parts of the probate process, as we said earlier, is giving creditors opportunities to make their claims and receive the funds they're owed from the estate of the deceased party. And you have to file a notice to creditors for 4 consecutive weeks in a authorized publication. And then you have to give an additional 3 months for creditors after that the 4th week. You have to give 3 more months for creditors to respond. So at least 4 months to satisfy. So that's one factor to consider. Another is the size of the estate. If there are tons of assets involved, it may take you a while to track down where the insurance is, or where the stock is, or where the certified bond or certified deposit is. That can play a role. Smaller estates, probably less complicated, may take less time, but the size of the estate will impact the time. Okay, I'll throw away. The number of heirs and your ability to actually communicate and contact the heirs. Sometimes there's challenges involved as far as conflicts in the family. Sometimes there's not even conflicts, it's just logistically trying to let the right side of the family know what the left side of the family is doing when it comes to, or even just heirs in general. I'm assuming that it's family members, but it could be other folks if it's dictated through the will. So whoever the heirs are to some of the assets in the estate, it could take time. Have everyone sign off in different spaces at times that everyone needs to sign off, and just to coordinate. So that can impact the time. Also, there may be a last will and testament that has specific things that have to be executed, or the deceased person was hoping would be executed, as well as someone may contest the will. If anyone is contesting the will, that's going to add additional time for their voice to be heard. Also, there may be property involved. As I said earlier, about 78% of the time when someone's trying to close a probate, there's property involved, and that property ends up being sold. And so if you decide to sell it, depending on if you don't go to a cash buyer like a State Pro Service, it may take longer. If you do go to a cash buyer, it could take a shorter amount of time, but it really just depends on the property and you all's needs. And another thing, the last thing, really, number 6 is scheduling, meeting with the clerk's office. They're very awesome down there. Durham County's clerk, where I spend a good deal of my time, are some amazing people, and they work very hard and they have tons of cases. And so do not be surprised if you can't get an appointment more no sooner than 2 months out. So that plays a factor. Also, just administration. I consider that administrative lag, just all the administrative lag of getting things signed and waiting for certain steps and submitting certain paperwork. That takes time. So those are things to consider, 6 things to consider that will impact the time of the probate. Now, if you need help with the probate process anywhere in the nation, I definitely encourage you to contact us at State Pro Service. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a financial advisor, but I am sharing my experience and my opinions through my time and experience helping families through the probate process. And probate is different in each state, and sometimes even rules and guidelines of what you can do is specific to certain counties. However, I am connected to a national network of vetted estate professionals. So wherever you are in the nation, I'm sure I can help you find someone to help you even further. And of course, if you're in North Carolina and if you're down here in Durham, North Carolina, I know that this process can be challenging and would love to support you and help you any way you can. So feel free to give us a call, 919-341-1992, or go to stateproservice.com to see how we can help you out. All right. Other than that, let's rock and roll. I'm working from home today. Looking forward to being back in the office, but it's nice to be home sometimes, you know. So hope you're doing well. Rising tides, it lifts all sails. Cheers.